On a quiet evening, as the golden light of the sun melted into pink, Milo sat alone on the old wooden bench in Greenfern Park. He was a quiet boy, gentle, and full of wonder. That day, he had lost something small, but important. A tiny silver marble that once belonged to his grandfather. He searched for hours in the tall grass, near the fountain, even under the park bench. But it was gone. Just as he sighed, something strange floated above him. A red umbrella. Not carried by wind. Not held by anyone. It hovered slowly in the air, its handle gently swaying, as if it was waiting. Milo stood up. The umbrella dipped down, then rose again, spinning slowly in the air, like an invitation. His heart beat faster. Without thinking too hard, he reached for it. The moment his fingers touched the wooden handle, the world around him shifted. The bench, the trees, even the grass beneath his feet, melted into softness. He was no longer standing on the ground. The sky below him shimmered like water. Clouds curled beneath his shoes. He was floating, high above the world, with the red umbrella guiding him. And in the distance, dozens of other umbrellas floated too. Blue, green, yellow, even ones with stars. They danced slowly in the sky, leading toward a place Milo had never seen before. A city made of clouds. A gate shaped like an open pocket. A sign that read, "Lost and found, only for the kind-hearted." As Milo drifted deeper into the sky, the red umbrella moved with purpose. Soft wind brushed his cheeks, carrying scents he couldn't quite name, like sugar, old paper, and warm sunlight. Then, he saw it. A floating platform stretched wide like a plaza, resting on clouds. It shimmered like glass but felt alive. Dozens of colorful stalls hovered in the air, held up by strings of stars and anchored by floating balloons. Each stall was filled with objects that didn't quite belong together. A purple sock with golden embroidery. A music box with no key. A teddy bear missing one eye but glowing gently from the inside. This was the sky market of lost things. The umbrellas landed softly, like petals. Milo stepped onto the cloud surface, his feet sinking slightly. Around him, other children wandered in awe, some in pajamas, others with dreamlike faces. They each seemed to be searching. "Milo, this way," a soft voice called. It was Tico, a tiny creature made of mist and moonlight, with wings like folded ribbons. Tico hovered in the air, eyes twinkling like stars. "This market holds things the world has forgotten," Tico said, circling Milo playfully. "But only the kind-hearted may find what truly belongs to them." Milo looked around. So many forgotten treasures. So many stories trapped inside buttons, bookmarks, and drawings. "Why am I here?" he asked softly. Tico didn't answer right away. Instead, he pointed to a booth made entirely of mirrors, where an old man with glowing eyes waited behind the counter. Milo walked closer. On the table was a single object. A silver marble. His grandfather's marble. But the moment Milo reached out, it vanished. A warm breeze blew, and somewhere deep within the clouds, a faint chime rang 3 times. Tico's eyes narrowed. The game has begun. Milo stood frozen. The marble, just moments ago on the table, was gone. The old man behind the mirror booth gave a gentle smile and said, "If something truly belongs to you, it will call you back." Tico hovered beside him, glowing faintly. "Come. We must follow the chime." They walked beyond the mirror stall, deeper into the misty edge of the sky market. The clouds parted, revealing something breathtaking. A bridge. But not an ordinary one. It was woven from floating sheets of musical paper, each glowing with faint golden lines. Notes danced softly across them, as if freshly written by dreams. The bridge swayed gently in the air. A sign shimmered beside it. The bridge of memory notes. Milo stepped onto the first sheet. A quiet piano tone echoed, like raindrops on a window. Second step. Laughter. His mother's voice, reading him bedtime stories. Third step. A familiar whistle. It was his grandfather's song, the one he used to hum while playing with the silver marble. Milo gasped. "The bridge plays memories," he whispered. Tico nodded. "Only the ones kept deep in your heart." As they walked, each step lit up with soft sounds, forming a symphony of childhood. Then, a breeze lifted the edge of the bridge. The sheets of music fluttered, rising into the sky one by one, vanishing like leaves caught by the wind. They had crossed. Now before them lay a mirror lake floating in the sky, still and glowing. In the center of the lake, a single lantern floated. Inside that lantern, Milo saw a reflection. It was himself, but younger, laughing, barefoot, holding the marble in both hands. Tico floated close. Sometimes, the things we lose are waiting for us to remember who we used to be. The lake was so still, it felt like time had paused. Milo stared at the lantern where his younger self smiled gently, holding the silver marble like it was the most precious thing in the world. Tico floated quietly beside him. Then, the surface of the lake rippled. From beneath the lantern, something emerged, a small boat, delicate and glowing, shaped like a curled feather. It shimmered with soft pink and gold, floating toward Milo without making a sound. Tico landed on the edge of the lake. "This boat will take you where the forgotten dreams rest." Milo stepped inside. The featherlight boat rocked gently, then began to glide across the mirror lake. The air felt warmer here, and faint lullaby tones echoed through the sky, as if someone far away was singing. As they moved, the sky above slowly changed. Stars blinked awake one by one, forming constellations Milo had never seen before, shapes of lost toys, laughter, open arms. He passed by bubbles floating just above the water. In each bubble, a tiny scene played out. A girl hugging her cat for the last time. A boy dropping his toy into a drain. An old man leaving a letter behind on a park bench. "These are forgotten moments," Tico whispered. "Memories people let go of. Not because they didn't care, but because they had to grow." Milo's eyes grew heavy. The lullabies continued. And ahead of them, in the distance, he saw a hill made entirely of plush clouds. On top of it stood a single tree, its branches made of starlight. And from that tree, something glowed with a familiar silver light. The boat slowed as it neared the cloud hill. A gentle hush fell over the lake, as though every sound in the sky had taken a breath. Milo stepped out onto the soft clouds. They held his weight like memory, light and tender. Tico floated just ahead, his wings glowing faintly in the starlight. The tree on the hill was unlike anything Milo had ever seen. Its trunk shimmered like silver rain. Its branches stretched wide, and from them hung tiny glowing orbs, each one pulsing softly, like it was breathing. Wind moved through the branches, yet not a single leaf stirred. There was no sound. And yet, Milo felt like he was listening to something. Inside him, a song without words. A memory without pictures. He walked slowly to the base of the tree. There, hanging from the lowest branch, was a silver thread. And at the end of the thread, the marble. It glowed steadily, as if it had always known Milo would return. He reached up and took it gently into his hands. The warmth of it filled his fingers, then his arms, then his chest. And suddenly, he remembered his grandfather's laugh. The way the marble rolled across wooden floors. The soft voice that once whispered, "Take care of it, one day it'll guide you home." Milo knelt under the tree, holding the marble close. Tico landed beside him and whispered, "What was lost now knows where to return." And above them, the starlight branches pulsed once, then gently faded. The tree had sung, without a sound. Milo stood slowly, the marble still glowing gently in his hands. The tree behind him faded into a soft hum, like a lullaby that was no longer sung but still remembered. Tico flew quietly beside him. "Are we going home now?" Milo asked. Tico didn't answer with words. He simply turned and began gliding downward along a narrow path of stars that seemed to appear beneath them. Milo followed. The path was delicate, made of tiny lights, like crumbs of moonlight left behind by dreamers. After a short walk through the sky, they came to a strange place. A fold in the clouds. It looked like the sky itself had been stitched and gently pulled open, revealing a hidden pocket of space. Inside it, stars swirled like paint in water, and colors shimmered that had no names, shades of memory, kindness, and stories untold. At the center of it was a gate, not made of wood or gold, but of feeling, warmth, longing, comfort, and something that felt like the first time someone ever said welcome. Tico turned to Milo. "This is where things find their way back." Milo took a deep breath. The marble pulsed once, gently. He stepped through. For a moment, everything was soft and weightless, like floating through a hug, a memory, a dream. Then, he was back, lying in bed. The sky outside his window was just turning light blue. Birds were beginning to sing. In his hand, the silver marble, still warm, and on the windowsill, glowing faintly in the morning sun, was a single red umbrella. The morning felt different, not just because Milo was awake earlier than usual, or because the marble still glowed softly in his hand, but because the world felt lighter. He sat up in bed. The red umbrella on the windowsill hadn't moved. It leaned quietly against the frame, catching the early golden light. But Milo could feel it. It was watching, waiting, just like before. He stood and walked toward it, barefoot on the wooden floor. As his fingers touched the curved wooden handle, a faint wind swirled through the room, though the window was closed. Tiny sparkles of light danced in the air, and for just a moment, the ceiling above him shimmered. Then, he was back in the sky, not drifting or flying, just standing, on a single, floating platform of cloud. Before him stood hundreds of umbrellas, resting, glowing faintly, each one different in color and size and memory. Some looked worn, others almost new, but they were all waiting. Tico appeared beside him, calm and silent. "This is where umbrellas wait," he said. "Not to be used, but to be remembered." Milo walked among them, recognizing some without knowing how. One that smelled like sea air, one with the sound of distant laughter, another that shimmered like sunlight through leaves. He reached the center. There stood his umbrella. Red. Familiar. But now, it held something new. A tiny silver chain. And on the chain, the marble. Tico looked at him. "It's yours now. Not because it was returned, but because you chose to carry it forward." Milo took the chain gently, placed it around his neck, and held the marble close once again. Above them, the sky began to shift. Not fading, not ending, just opening. Milo stood quietly, the marble now warm against his chest. The red umbrella beside him leaned slightly in the breeze, as if bowing goodbye. Tico floated close, but said nothing. There were no more riddles. No more destinations. Only this, the sky, open and gentle. The feeling of being known. Of being home. Above them, the clouds began to rise, like curtains drawn back after the final note of a lullaby. Light poured through in soft streams, and Milo noticed something beautiful. Each umbrella was rising too. One by one, they floated upward, glowing gently. But they didn't vanish. They became part of the sky. Some turned into stars. Some into clouds. Some became the shimmer on the edges of dreams. His red umbrella stayed. Not because it was stuck, but because it chose to stay, with him. Tico turned toward him, folding his tiny wings. "You won't need me now," he said, "but I'll always be near, just beneath the hush of twilight." Milo looked up at the sky, and smiled, because he finally understood. Nothing was truly lost. Not the marble. Not the memories. Not even the things he never said. Everything he carried with care would remain, softly woven into the sky above, waiting to guide someone else, someday. The platform faded. The clouds whispered goodbye. And the day began.